a new song. Sing to the Lord, all the earth. Sing to the Lord, praise his name. Proclaim his salvation day after day. Declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous deeds among all people. For great is the Lord, and most worthy of praise.
Crazy.
Keep a horn on me, that come my sleep. Keep a horn on me, that come my seat. Keep a horn on me, that come my seat. By me.
Can't run it back.
Okay, well, it switched over already for the commercials, so I think I'll just stop. Hi, Rob.
How are you?
Good, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rob, and am I pronouncing your Baylis?
This will do. That's great.
I first was Bialy, and
I'm from somewhere, right? I mean, it's the Alistock will do, right?
Let's see. I'm just doing my thing here, getting myself together. So, yeah, for those of you in LA, I was introduced to Rob through Terry Bond, who is, definitely part of the jazz community, lovely, wonderful woman, singer, PR person. And so she's working with the Broad, right?
BroadStage.
Yeah, yeah. So, and so let me just set this up a little bit, then we'll get into whatever. We can talk about anything, Rob. So, I'm not sure how to get into this. So, well, first of all, Rob himself has a pretty incredible history, I think, just from reading the short version, You've been a classical player mostly, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I found, yeah, I thought, oh, that's very interesting coming from that background, like to Kamasi Washington that we just heard, And you speak to a lot of organizations, and you have spoken, you've taught in high positions. I'm just trying to remember, kind of in a ball. And anyway, reading your bio, you're somebody to be respected. That's how I feel. And so, congratulations on your life.
Whole other thing living it, but thank you.
There was another thing that I was impressed with being in the business forever for myself, which was, I think it was in Seattle, making or up north, you made an organization more widely known and then more widely known, so nationally and then internationally. To me, that's very impressive too, because I mean, I've thought about that kind of stuff, so much over the years, marketing and ideas and yeah.
That was actually, yeah, yep, yeah. It's a process. I'll tell you. starting from a small organization and staying with that organization for that was almost a decade with that one organization, and going from something really very locally oriented to really growing it all the way out through capital campaigns and all the way to something that was really by the end of all of that, pretty much of international standing. Was quite
what was the organization?
those were the years I was working with ODC in San Francisco.
ODC is
It's a dance organization, ODC SF. The really one of the largest dance resources in all of California. Brilliant dance company, also a school and also a theater. At the time that I joined with that organization, I was the director of the theater wing of the organization, and had the opportunity to be with them for all of those years, and just to build out the theater presenting space, which is one of the really venerable experimental theaters in San Francisco. It's been in that space since the early '80s, and had the opportunity to take it at the time that I joined. It was within the very early 2000s, through really the whole decade of the early 2000s, which you can remember in San Francisco was a crazy time. And booms and busts and all of that. To establishing that chapter of experimental performance was really something.
I can only imagine that you are the idea person, and then you have your minions, going out there and following through. And I don't mean that, in a bad way.
Yes and no. I mean, I think there's no. Well, first of all, I think maybe the days of the idea person who doesn't also have to execute are probably done. I
Yeah.
certainly met anybody who doesn't have to get on the ground and do it.
Yeah.
Certainly not in the arts at this point. I mean, if we're, particularly when you're talking about the fine performing arts, or launching a jazz festival, as we've just done with the Santa Monica International Jazz Festival, or any kind of an arts organization, these things are, these are enterprises of, extraordinarily intense effort at this point. And it really is all going to be based on person-to-person relationships, who you can believe in, who you can trust, and who, it just isn't about some visionary living in a glass box and somehow spitting out ideas that are somehow so ingenious or so brilliant that that anyone will gather around and listen to the story and somehow run with that and make it so. That's simply not how that works. So this is an enterprise of absolutely getting on the ground and getting it done. So no, I wouldn't describe it as a world of ideas and then somebody else who gets it done. You've really got to be able to work in lockstep with everybody, and that I think that's one of the beauties, in particular, of the jazz community. And with the Santa Monica Festival, this was me and Stanley Clark and Stanley's executive producer Martin Fleischman, and we're all in it every day. I mean, there's nobody who's not not actually looking at the spreadsheets. There's no being in a bubble here. It's everyone's got their piece of this that they're handling, or even parts of it that they're simply doing on spec and volunteering to make it work. Thankfully, as we're coming into this first inaugural draft of it, certainly with the festival, this is wow, it's been 3 years getting to the inaugural draft. So, and a lot of that was just sort of done, bit by bit, sort of just accumulating the resources and pulling it together and realizing what steps we could take and building a sort of experimental model that we did 1.5 years ago on a very small scale. So yeah, we've really kind of stepped it along and figured it out. And that's sort of, I think where smart leadership is right now, is to sort of kind of figure out who you really want to work with and build your team carefully, and to really know that everybody's going to be working in a peer group, and really kind of figuring out how to delegate and how to share and how to balance the load, because it's probably more work than even a really great group of trusting people can do. So you're going to have to all hold each other up at some point along the road.
Yeah, well, I understand all that, believe me, because for years I've been an entrepreneur creating venues and gigs. I had a jam session for 16 years every week. And and right now I'm booking this club, which, I don't know if the festival down the line will be spreading out, and, but that would be pretty cool to have. The place is called Birds of a Feather Jazz Lounge.
Yeah.
It's behind Disney Hall. And it's a beautiful venue. It holds 40 people. It's really beautiful inside. The audience and the artists love playing there. And it's inside a Vietnamese vegan restaurant, which is really good. Yeah, it's really well known back over there in that area. So we're having all kinds of great people. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that who have played there and are playing. But I think I went to the Broad last year. I feel like it was the like a 2-day festival. Was it a 2 or a 1-day festival? Right, with different artists.
Yep.
Yeah. So I went to that one. I had no idea, and I don't know if we were supposed to know that you were planning. It's a week-long festival, right?
I don't think we knew exactly the scope. The pilot that we did. So this was 1.5 years ago, and we called it Future Sounds of Jazz, and this was the midpoint. So BroadStage partnered with Stanley Clark 3 years ago. As an artist in residence, and this was just sort of part of the grander BroadStage programming. We've had this long history of jazz at BroadStage. Quincy Jones was the first jazz curator at BroadStage. Can't go wrong. And his whole thing at BroadStage was, I just want to introduce the next generation. So he was finding all of these amazing, basically young players. I mean, Conrad Tao made his debut as a jazz player, I think, at BroadStage, really, or sort of one of them, as a really young player. It's that kind of thing that he was sourcing out. So that's where, as Quincy did throughout his career, just found it.
Yeah.
So that was sort of very early days. We're talking, I mean, really, really in the 2008, 2009, very, very, very early days. So that's where the roots sort of settled in. So there's been this history of, on the board of directors and in the donor community of BroadStage, that people were always kind of accustomed to following Quincy's lead or sort of giving to the idea of having a great jazz program here. So when Stanley Clark came along as possibly the only real successor to somebody as incredible as Quincy, the idea of having him come in as a resident artist and figuring out, well, what do you want to do with this incredible jazz legacy? And Stanley's vision was, well, why don't we have an international jazz festival in Santa Monica? It seems kind of like a no-brainer. Of course, not quite as easy as it sounds, but sure, maybe that should be the goal. And we all thought this is going to take a long-term commitment. You can't just pop something in and call it done. We're going to have it grow from the salt of the earth here. It's going to have to come from the soil. It's not something that you can just kind of declare. So hence the long-term residency and really needing it to come from everybody, come from students, come from teachers, come from community, come from stars, come from everywhere. Really kind of the heavens and the earth have to meet in the middle to make that work. You can't, just kind of pull it out of thin air. So because Stanley is a gifted mentor and someone who I think spiritually believes in the transmission of knowledge as a spiritual act, as something that is deeper than just, you learn your P's and your Q's, but you actually are, it's a real transmission of deep importance. He's willing to do that. It's not like I put it in your contract and for an extra X number of dollars, you're going to teach.
Yeah.
It's deep for him.
Yeah.
He was the guy who would do that.
Yeah.
To Quincy, he would do that. And it would be meaningful work, not extra work.
Yeah.
He did. He committed to this. He went out, he found the kids he wanted to work with, both at the college, at Santa Monica College, and in the high school, at the top end of the age bracket of Samo High, and said, these are the ones I want to work with, and let's raise these kids up. Let's get them into the profession if they want to do that. So he really committed to working with them, which he could do because he was in Topanga. So he could actually, when he was home, commit to some real coaching, which he did do amazingly and regularly. So these students just walked into the gift of a lifetime. I mean, completely transformed their life. And the roots of the festival actually grew out of these mentorship relationships that had time to grow. So the community kind of got around this sense of, there's a relationship commitment from a legend to our hometown. And so it wasn't just the teaching, it was a sense that the community saw, this isn't just somebody who's great, who wants to play here a lot or do something. There's a sense of this is running deep. And so this is really a commitment of relationship, a commitment of faith, and a commitment of belief in this place as something where roots are growing. And that was really why it was able over those 3 years to start to really get to things like city government, travel and tourism with authenticity. It wasn't just hey, can we get some of your dollars or some of your, it's like, look over here. There might be trouble in the schools, but we're teaching. There might be trouble on the promenade, but we're bringing in, real activity. Or there might be some issues over here where we need a little more activity to help this neighborhood along, and we're going to do that. There was a real sense of this being a community effort where there's been so much trouble in the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Especially since the fires and everything else, of just needing to bring spirits up, needing to bring the economy up, needing to bring everything. Yeah. That this was an authentic gesture and not something that was just kind of flashing in the pan. So that, because of those things, it was really, I think, able to take root. Yeah. That was kind of a key part of the authenticity of the gesture, and Stanley being so generous in that way, that things sort of began to move in the direction that they did.
Well, it's nice to hear that. A lot of times you don't hear stories like that for the beginnings of festivals normally. You hear stories, but not quite like that. That's kind of an unusual beginning. It's really good. So, and it's interesting because this summer there's going to be a jazz festival in Santa Monica. Like a few days, or I think they might spread across the town as well, related. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That place?
I'm sure of what it is. So we'll find out when it happens. Yeah. The LA Jazz Fest, I think. Yeah. Uncertain, but we'll see. Could be great. There's room for everybody. room for everybody.
Yeah, well, and also, I think clubs and venues were kind of on a lull, and then they started building up again. And of course, the frantically awaited blue whale, that probably won't be together until the end of this year or maybe next year because he's doing a big job over there. But he was my student. I'm so proud of him. He's such an unbelievable human. He'd talk about a person with a lot of sight and well-meaning and taste. He's an amazing human. So I'm really proud of him. And yeah, so
Oh, going back,
yeah,
you just not jazz. So what you saw there when you came to that event, the Future Sounds of Jazz, that was the midpoint where we were still on the campus of BroadStage. We were still doing that little the pilot that we did. That came out of the residency. That came out of all the teaching and all the mentorship, and so that it was really just for us to test the festival idea on our campus, and that was all of our venues were activated for that. The 3 venues that we had here.
yeah,
So we did the little sort, and it kind of just said, well, what if we kind of do a festival feeling here, much smaller. That thing went great, and we thought, okay, how big can we make it, or how much could we blow it up?
yeah.
That's when we started thinking about something like this. At the time, we were really thinking we were going to do one day on the Santa Monica Pier. That was the idea. And it was, okay, well, and we knew Route 66 Centenary was coming. So we thought, let's get on the Route 66 train. There's all the Route 66 stuff about the pier. Everyone gets their picture taken there. But let's just do it. That was going to be it.
Right.
As everything started to go, and then there was the conflation of the Coltrane Centenary, the Miles Centenary, the Route 66 Centenary, all that. We're like, all right, we got to go all in. So it really did kind of start to just slowly kind of find its way to what being a full week, and for it to launch at this size was way more than we had ever thought we were going to be able to pull off, but magically it seems to be happening, and I think it so far so good. Right.
Okay, so being that I'm sorry to say, I did not know anything about it until Terry sent me the information. I heard nothing about it. I mean, I am busy with stuff, and sometimes I don't hear stuff, but you would think I would hear about that. Anyway, so it's let's just talk about some details. It's a week. Is it all at the Broad?
No, just one night of it is. Just one night. So the first opening night was Hiromi, which was actually Hiromi was downtown at the Orpheum. One concession to not being at Santa
okay.
It's fine. We can be at the Santa Monica International Jazz Festival and be in other parts of LA. It's fine. Everyone thinks that Santa Monica's LA anyway, so why not? We should be able to be anywhere. I mean, the rest of the world looks at Santa Monica and believes that that's Los Angeles. So why shouldn't we just be able to?
Okay.
Why not? So we were at the Orpheum because we needed a bigger theater. There wasn't a bigger one. There was a bigger one in Santa Monica that we could use. So Hiromi is bringing him in, packing him in.
Wow.
At the Orpheum, just packed the place, which is great. So she was the kickoff, incredible concert of celebrating her Out There album, which if you have not listened to it is beyond belief. It's named for the 4-movement work that's in the middle of the album, also called Out There. Just stunning. Get it. Great album. So that was the kickoff, and then we came to the 3rd Street Promenade yesterday. Thrilled. I think there were conservatively there were 3,000 people on the promenade for jazz. We had 7 different acts go up that day between 1 in the afternoon and 7 at night, ranging and all different levels and types of jazz. It was really terrific.
Where was it on the promenade?
We were between Santa Monica Boulevard and Broadway. We were on that block.
See, now if I had known, I would have done my Saturday gig on Sunday because I do a gig on the corner of Broadway and Second.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I did it. I was there Saturday, but not Sunday. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's interesting. So I'm trying. Yeah.
It was fantastic. We partnered with downtown Santa Monica.
Yeah.
A really beautiful stage for us, right where the dinosaurs are there,
Yeah.
and just packed it. I mean, we were able to
Wow.
chairs lining both sides of the promenade. Of course, left the fire lane open, of course. And yeah, it was just packed all day, all day. It was really, really terrific. Elijah Fox Trio pretty much closed out the day and just nailed it. It was amazing. Really, really loved it. Genevieve Artadi, who was going to be playing, singing, of course, with Nowhere on the main stage this coming Saturday at Tongo Park. Also singing towards the end of the day. And, of course, we kicked off the day with Samo High, a jazz combo who were just killing it. They were great. So really, really lovely, really lovely. Really, really, really wonderful day of just all different stripes of, different kinds of jazz combos. And it was really, 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 really high level and really, really wonderful and totally free. So people were some folks were there for all 7 hours or 6 hours of it. It was really, really lovely. So that was sort of the free, gift to the community, open all day long. Then coming up on May 8th, we have the day at BroadStage, that's the Coltrane celebration. So two of our greatest saxophonists, Lakeisha Benjamin and Isaiah Collier, are doing the Coltrane celebration. And on that program also Tenor Madness, which is, of course, Stanley Clark and has put together Tenor Madness. We'll be playing. And so that's the Coltrane celebration. And then the giant day of headliners in the park is at Tonga Park on May 9th.
Where is Tonga Park?
Tonga Park is Santa Monica's biggest green space. And it's a beautifully designed, gorgeous park directly across from the Santa Monica Pier. So it is, so it's between the Santa Monica Pier and City Hall. For some reason, people don't know that we have a 6-acre park between the Santa Monica Pier and City Hall. It is gorgeous.
I'm trying to imagine that too. And wow. Yeah. Okay.
So, it's on Olympic on one side, I think Colorado on the other. So, it's, right there, right next to the Viceroy. Beautiful, beautiful park. Has a natural amphitheater built into it. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're going to take that and sort of fence it off and turn it into a beautiful ticketed concert venue. So we'll have all of it, your food trucks and your bars throughout the park, all kinds of fun stuff. Your VIP areas. We'll have a beautiful VIP lounge. So if you bought your VIP ticket, particularly your VVIP ticket, you're going to have a very good time. There's an overlook bar that comes with a VVIP ticket that looks out over the ocean and also out over the park, and there's over the stage. It's great. And
what time is that?
That's on May 9th. The show starts at 1:00 and runs until just after sundown, until around 7:00. And that's the headliners. So that day includes where of course Stanley Clark and Stuart Copeland have formed a super group performing that day. That's the day with Motley is playing that day. Miles Electric Band is that day with the Miles celebration. Our wonderful Sam Smiley and his group are playing that day. Sam's another great young artist who started off in the residency that Stanley's been coaching and is lifted all the way up to the main stage of the festival. Terrific young keyboard player, really, really good. So yeah, it's a full day. It's really, really going to be a terrific set of concerts.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So.
And do you go to the 11th, or is that the last day?
Last day.
The 9th. Sorry.
That's the last day, the 9th.
Oh, okay. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was to the 11th. Okay, cool. Wow. Sounds great. Wow.
You're ready to lie down.
Sounds wonderful. Really, really great. Wow. Well, normally my Saturdays are I go down to my gig 9:30 to 1, and then I go home and take a nap. And then I go downtown to Birds of a Feather Jazz Lounge, and we have Lynn Fidmont there that night. So, yeah, so I don't think I'm going to make it, but you know, you never know. Maybe next year I can plan ahead.
Exactly. Get someone to cover.
Sounds great. So, what happens after it's over? What are you guys planning on just like
Next year.
coming down and, you know, just like talking over, relaxing, whatever?
I think a little relaxing, but you know the hours right after something like this are the most crucial to get right back in that pocket and write everything down and just I
Yeah.
mean absolutely everything you learned.
Yeah.
It's going to be gone within days. It'll just fly right out of your head, you know.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, the rose tinted glasses will be on within 48 hours, right? Of like how great it was and how, you know, and everything that you need to think about operationally, everything you need to think about, like, oh, we got to fix that, or we got to remember that. Just get it all figured out as soon as you can, and then you can let it go and come back to it. But there's actually that critical moment when you actually can really be clear minded and precise about everything we need to just think about and memorialize before we let it go and then come back to it with all the you know all the happy thoughts. But it's a critical moment there, but that's also where your chance for really driving the you know the best outcomes for the next year are.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with it. I think we're so excited about it, and I think
Uh-huh.
there's a sense that you know for us this isn't year one. Next year we're going into year 4 for us, right? We've been at this for 3 years to get to year 1, so it's built on a really strong foundation. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, the next bit for us is you know to really be thinking about well we locked this one in, so what's the growth potential for year 2?
Yeah. So this is pretty cool. When is the Route 66 you know, celebration?
Route 66 celebration is actually starts really with this, and it runs all the way through the rest of this coming year. So there's all kinds of Route 66.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So let's see. And you know, it's funny because also International Jazz Day was the day before
Yeah.
this whole thing started. So I had a gig then too. So, but yeah. So here's the page. It's smjazzfest.com, and I guess there's a spot to get tickets. Yep, tickets and schedule. VIP. Oh, Lush Life VIP. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that all looks really pretty exciting. And then VIP, a lot less money and still fun. Right? Oh my gosh.
I'll get you in all lounges.
And then the general tickets, yeah. Well, this is cool. This is great. Yeah. I'd like to. I want to play a little bit of things that are happening. Oh, Smitty Smith. He just played at the club the night before last. Eric Reed. He's so good. Let's see.
Really
So
crazy.
say that again.
Really my dad, man. Crazy. Really good. Yeah.
Who should we just take a quick listen to? What do you think?
Oh gosh. I mean, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Don't make me pick.
Okay, let's go for the Miles Electric Band.
Yeah.
YouTube, Miles Electric Band. Miles Electric Band. I saw Patrice singing on that video, that NPR video. She used to come into my jam session. like years ago. I started my jam session in, I think it was 2000, and she used to come in then. Okay, so 1 year ago, that sounds probably good, right? Yeah.
There's a layer of
Oops,
muscle in your
I don't
back
want to
that you've
hear
probably
about
never
that.
heard.
Okay. Oh, there he is. Wow, that sounds so good. Kind of don't want to stop, but let's listen a little.
We're one of the only social
Oh
media
my
agencies.
goodness, stop. Terrible, terrible. You know, how dare they? You have to pay to get that to stop. Anyway, that was fabulous. Oh my God. Ah, just fabulous.
There's that line, I'm sure you know, that there's, did everything Fred Astaire did, only backwards in heels. That line, I'm sure.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Ginger Rogers did everything Fred Astaire did, only backwards and in heels.
Oh,
Right?
right, I forgot about that.
It crosses my mind all the time that jazz musicians are as virtuosic as any kind of musician it while they play it.
Yeah. Sorry, somehow I lost my Restream site. I wanted just to get back to that. That's not it. Anyway, yeah, that was incredible. Yeah. Oh, Rob, I lost my Restream. You know, Facebook has been problematic in my comments. It doesn't show me my comments anymore. So I don't know. So I have to go to Restream, which, are you familiar with Restream? Yeah, it's oh my God. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna even go there. Okay, I'm just gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna really worry too much about it. So yeah, well, that was incredible. Yeah,
We're gonna have so much fun with them.
yeah. Would you say that most of the music is kind of that genre?
On the program for the 9th, or sorry, the 8th?
Uh,
9th.
yeah, the ninth.
Not necessarily. No, it's pretty rangy. It's
Oh,
the Miles Electric Band is kind of its own unique world. I mean, there's because it certainly it's a lot of the alumni of and certainly the folks who have played in that particular slice of Miles' body of work.
yeah.
Also a lot of very original thinking in that band, of course. Incredible
Yeah.
musicianship that's growing out of that particular vein of thinking. But pretty much everybody's in their own voice. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's kind of, I don't know that there's a single musician anywhere in the contemporary milieu that has not been touched by Miles Davis. I can't imagine there is a single human.
Me, that Miles was my favorite when I was coming up. Yep.
I mean, you have to really. I mean, really, come on. It's just he's everywhere. It's ubiquity. Arguably, I would say probably certainly on the top 5 most influential American composers of all time. Clearly,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, whether you've only heard 4 bars,
Yeah.
you've been touched by it. Say that it's everywhere, and it's in some part of your cellular experience.
Right. Well, so is there I mean, your mission statement was kind of deep and spiritual to me. And do you want to say more about your intentions for what you're doing now? It might be because you're so focused on the jazz right at this moment, or it could be just the arts in general. Would you like to say anything about that?
Sure. I mean, maybe it's because I'm a Gen Xer, and so I am so much just feeling like I've got a toe on or a hand on either side of the bridge. I'm just whoa, right here between the millennials on one side and the boomers. And I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna trying to hold on to both sides of the conversation. If there's the thing that maybe really resonates the deepest for me is this sense of I just urgently want the arriving generation to receive their cultural inheritance in
Yeah.
full, and whatever that takes, whatever that takes, and the gap, the transmission gap that I feel arriving between this wealth of knowledge that is clearly exiting in terms of it's just leaving the planet, it's leaving Earth, right? It's going away. Turns
Yeah.
out it's leaving with that knowledge that they're quite literally leaving their corporeal plane, maybe without the option or the ability to transmit that information to folks who need to receive it.
Yeah.
And also potentially the sort of lack of structures to get that information across. And then also to some extent, the either lack of willingness or lack of pathways or channels to get that information to land where it needs to, for people to really receive it and be able to have a lifetime of treasuring that or enjoying it or being able to use it however they see fit. And to benefit from that, however they would like to benefit from it. It's their gift to use and to enjoy however they want to use it or enjoy it.
Yeah.
Those things are very complicated right now. Very complicated. They're complicated by technology. They're complicated by cultural influence. They're complicated by all manner of issues. So that to me is where I have chosen to locate myself in my own life's mission is just to be in that conversation, so that what we have is perhaps the greatest collections of human experience, which for me are the bodies of work captured in the arts. What is captured in music, what is captured in theater, what's captured in dance are the greatest human testimonial about experience and wisdom that we have. And to lose those archives is to lose humanity. So for me, the transmission of that is essential. So whatever I can do in this simple capture of cells and blood and muscle and bone to make sure that I'm playing a part in transmitting that along, that's where I want to be. So my mission is that, and if that means that I'm associated with an institution in some fashion of leadership or whatever it is, to support that process, then that's where I'm situated. If it's a jazz festival or it's a BroadStage or it's a whatever, that's where I'm situated and what I'm trying to do. So for me, it's that's where the mission lives. So if there's a mission alignment, then I've found the right job, or I found the right place to land. If there's not a mission alignment, then it's time for me to move on. It's time for me to find another thing to do. But that for me is critical, and I really do think we're teetering on the edge of a possible disconnect that could distance us from I think of a loss of millennia of evolution, of really important, really deeply important understanding of human value. And I do think that it's not just about aesthetics. It's not about style. It's not about, I mean, these are ancient conversations that will always go on. Aesthetics are, that's not it. This is much more deeply rooted, much more deeply rooted.
Yeah. I agree with you. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's what I've thought for many years, and I'm sure that's why I like these conversations, because sometimes people say stuff that is very deep in that way, and that you just don't talk about in general hanging out at dinner, And yeah, I mean, the arts give I think one of the more, if not the most, experience long term, and I don't mean months, I just mean in the moment or however long it lasts, long term experience of these qualities that make us alive and touching the source or creator or what, who whatever you want to call that, and it's important. That's why I said to you before we started, in the period of these 600 interviews, I really felt like the artists were keeping the planet spinning.
Yeah.
I really felt like that, and I was amazed. I mean, and talked to Brazil, Germany, Africa, and everybody is on the same wavelength, whether they discuss it like exactly like this or not. They are on the same wavelength, and there's intention there. And I've seen it over the years of being a singer, and for the audience, how the audience gets affected directly. Some woman's listening and she comes up crying because she's just taking a break from her son in the hospital, and we touched her soul. And so there's so many wonderful things about it. I'm really glad to hear you speak on that, so eloquently, and I think it's so important to keep this conversation alive and make it important.
Oh, it's huge, and we can't. And there's no shame in talking about it as entertainment too. I mean, and I think we get very perplexed about the difference between art and entertainment, and we get very weird about that. And I hope that conversation can relax too, because it's also a bunch of very confused malarkey. But there's room for everybody. We can all calm down about that. But it's all right. Really it is. But there's where there's not a need for us to be splitting hairs is that when we're affected by something, we're affected by it at a cellular level. It's something that goes, it is equally deep. Your body is not making a nervous system determination between whether it was, Gustav Klimt or Walt Disney. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not a difference, a distinguished, anything. It's sorry. Britney Spears or Wagner. I'm sorry, it's not. Your nervous system is saying to you, I'm alive. To have different ways of experiencing the world, and also all these ways in which we're ready to say that we're living a very dimensional life that needs all kinds of food and experience and ways of experiencing a vibrant, understanding of humanity. And that if that's not part of the equation, I think we really get to these places where we're easily cornered. And when we're easily cornered, the worst can happen. So that piece of it is just very difficult. But the other part of it, and interestingly, I said this to Hiromi, at her concert. That band, listening to that band is mind-boggling. I mean, she's working with rhythmic structures that are almost, impossible, even for someone who can count like you can't imagine, and can listen and dictate and write like the wind. It's almost impossible to imagine how they're doing what they're doing. I mean, even if you know every trick in the book, it's like, wow. Wow. And I said to her, I was like, I wish world leaders could listen like jazz musicians can listen. I mean,
I thought that too. I know.
Please go and teach a summit. I was like, please. Just listening to her trumpet player, and she this is perfect pitch or not, note for note, beat for beat. It's a conversation that is both respectful of exactly what you said, and here's how I heard you.
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
Right here. This is how we make progress, right there in the millisecond of respect.
Yeah.
Everybody in the room just sees this is a demonstration of how we can actually see ourselves differently, or see ourselves at our best. Is that watching a gymnast do something that you've got a human body, they've got a human body. They just did something that a human body you can't imagine yours doing. You can't. But we're all here together in humanity. There's an example I could probably just not just respect that, but maybe be uplifted by it.
Yeah, there's a yeah, and the thing is, jazz is actually during the pandemic, I wrote a little book because I'd been thinking about it for a number of years. The same lessons apply, the exact same lesson in life, in playing jazz, and unbelievably in voice technique. So there's one idea, and it applies to everything, and beyond too. But the thing is that one thing is when you are playing in such an instance like Hiromi, everybody is trying. Everybody is, I won't say use the word trying. They are aware of working to make the music better together. And that would be a huge, thing for social structure, right? Political and social structure. I mean, sometimes I wonder, where are we? What planet is this? We should have a planet that, like, the arts lead, right? We're the reflection of humans. We're empathetic. We feel, oh, this needs attention over here. We feel it by our art and the response. And then there's a societal or political group of people who are looking at that and working with it. I should write a science fiction movie, but you know what I mean?
You know things are getting bad when science fiction looks like what things were 25 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer. But I'm really happy. I'm happy to meet you. Terry said you and me are some of her favorite people. So I feel honored because I love Terry. I think she's very special. And yeah. And I'm very excited for your festival. I'm excited to know the history of how it came about and for the future. It's really nice to meet you. By the way, are you playing still at all, or you don't play?
I not since coming to LA. I had such a weird experience coming to LA. So I got here 6 months before the pandemic. So at the toe in the water, then boom, we shut down, and then we came out of the pandemic, and it's been such a transfigured landscape. Like I've just been, so I guess I have been practicing. I still play my instrument.
Okay.
Been gigging at all. I've just been trying to. So my big plans for somewhere in 27 were like I should probably start trying to like perform a little bit.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm actually I stay in concert shape about 5 or 6 months of the year. And the other 5 or 6 months I should not be let near a stage. But I'm usually during the summer months and into the fall I'm actually in pretty good shape because I have a little bit more time to practice. But yeah, no, I can't. It's part of my anchoring that I can I've done it for so many years of my life. Since 8 years old, I've been playing. That it's kind of like saying, "Don't walk down the street."
Yeah.
I get very weird if I don't. What's going on if I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, here's to more playing, and I'm sure you have a lot of venues, but I'm going to invite you to come over to Birds of a Feather. You're going to really be impressed with it. It's a beautiful little space. The sound is really good for strings and woodwinds and that kind of thing. It's very small. It only holds about 40 people, so it's lovely.
I don't know about it. Where is it? Is it literally right behind the hall, or where is it?
Okay, so there's First and Hope, and on one corner is Disney, the back of Disney. The other corner is the back of the Dorothy Chandler. The other corner is the DWP, that real big area. And then on the other corner, there's a mini mall. It's kind of shaped like an L. And in the corner, there's an award-winning Vietnamese vegan restaurant called O Lac, which a lot of people go in if they're going to Disney or the Mark Taper. And in the back, there's a club. And I booked it before the pandemic for a few years. And then in November, the chef contacted me, and because they've been having, trouble coming back after the pandemic. And he said, can you stir up jazz in there again. So I contacted a friend of mine named Sydney Jacobs, who's a wonderful person and great singer. And the two of us have been, reaching out into the community. We know a lot of people and bringing people over to play, and it's just lovely. And the show is just like 7 to 8:30 usually, and so we book it 3 to 6 nights a week. So
great. That's great.
Yeah.
You also have something right here in Santa Monica that you're doing pretty regularly.
Yeah, so I've been there a year every Saturday. It used to be Jinkies.
Oh, right. Jinkies closed a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but so Jinkies, the old Jinkies was on, is that First or Broadway? First. So second. And then what they did is they went to the corner. They bought the building on the corner, and then they changed their names because they wanted to upgrade their image. So now it's called Brightside Kitchen.
Okay.
California Kitchen. And it's really nice. It's all glass on the corners, and you go in for breakfast or lunch, and I'm playing there with a duo, guitar and bass usually, and at 9:30 to 1. And so you can come, eat breakfast, lunch, and then go and, be in Santa Monica. It's really nice. And I've been there a year.
They still have the killer avocado toast that they had when they were Jinky.
Yes.
I love that avocado toast.
I do too. I love that. They little flowers on it.
I went to Jinkies. I went by Jinkies one time thinking, oh, I want that avocado toast. And it was gone. And I was like, no.
Well, now it's Brightside, and it's right on the corner there.
My goodness. Now I know the real reason for this interview is to find out where my avocado toast is.
It really is good. Actually, the other day I had, I had the poached eggs with the hollandaise on that's good too. But the avocado toast, it's so good. When I see that go by, I'm like drooling. Well, it's great. It's great to talk to you. Anytime you want to come check out the club, absolutely let me know. And I want to stay in touch and know what's going on so I can help, promote. And if you ever want to come on again, do another interview for whatever, just let me know.
Oh my, well, next time I'll tell you about how I actually got started in jazz before I went into my rigorous studies as a classical musician, as a 15-year-old playing with lead alto with a semi-professional stage band of retired World War II big band.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 15 when I got that.
I was gonna say you must have been young. Yeah.
My parents were still driving me at the time. I didn't.
Oh my God.
I learned all of those big band standards, and those guys they were all retired. They all played in big bands in the military, either in World War II or in Korea. And they trained me up right in Tommy Dorsey, let me tell you. So
I understand that, and my dad was a sax player, and he had big bands. So I grew up in that. I was always singing, but I went to Berkeley for flute because they didn't have vocals at the time. And but there's so much rich history of that era. Yeah. And I mean, as you said, there's a lot of people leaving the planet basically. And it's really wonderful to have that history. And actually, Hollywood has a lot of my friends have like parents, like one guy, Gary Bavona. He's a little younger than I am. He plays trumpet. His father was a man named, what was his first name? Bavona. I forget his first name. He was the alto player in old Hollywood.
Yeah.
And Gary grew up with all these actors and musicians in the house, always. Can you imagine? I mean, just such a rich background,
I mean, and it's to itself.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we capture.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, congratulations on what you're doing, Rob. I couldn't be more respectful of what you're doing, and it's really wonderful. And I'm sure you're going to have great luck with this. I mean, it doesn't sound like you're going to have any trouble filling seats and, just having a ball. Oh my God, I wish I could go Saturday, but
From your lips to whoever's ears. So thank you.
you're welcome.
Good to be with you. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope we can do it again soon.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You too. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye. You can sign off. I'm going to just tell people some more stuff.
Ciao.
Bye. So, isn't that cool? So, for those of you in LA and who want to come downtown to Birds of a Feather Jazz Lounge, Thursday we have a really talented young player named Daniel Harris. Really, as Rob was talking about, it's kind of the up and coming young players who are kind of forwarding jazz right now. And then on Friday, we have a beautiful singer, very experienced, James Love. He sang with Agape for 10 years. He's got a beautiful voice. And Saturday, this great singer who's has a little bit more R&B in her background, and she's been at it for a long time. She's done a lot of studio and backup work. Her name is Lynn Fidmont. It should be really great. And Sunday, it's a really fun thing. Two male singers, Alvin Reyes and Sean Potts, and they are going to be there Sunday evening. And of course, as I was telling Rob, I am at the old Jinkies, which is now Brightside Cafe in Santa Monica, 9:30 a.m. to 1. If you're really like a huge jazz fan, you could come have breakfast at there, which is at 2nd and Broadway, and then literally a few blocks south is the park where the Santa Monica Jazz Festival is happening. It's going to be all day long. I think he said it starts at 1. So that is going to be a fabulous festival. So you really could have a long, fabulous day on Saturday. Next Monday, I don't have anybody on the Noontime Hang, although you never know, because a lot of times it comes up at the last minute. But for 2 weeks, I won't be having anybody because I'm going to Japan on May 13th for 2 weeks. Oh, good, Terry. I see that. So I'm going to Japan May 13th. For those of you listening in Japan, I'll be in Hiroshima for 4 or 5 days, then Osaka for 4 days, and Tokyo for 4 days. And then I will be on the plane home on my birthday, May 28th, which is kind of fun. In the meantime, there will be at Birds of a Feather. I'm just going to mention this, but please go to the website, Birds of a Feather. I'm going to write the website here. www.birdsofafeather Jazz Lounge. You have to put Jazz Lounge there. Otherwise, you get weird things. Wednesday, May 13th, the day I leave, there's a wonderful group called Charged Particles. They're from the Bay Area, and they're known all over the world, and they would fit right along with this jazz festival music. They're really, really great musicians. I interviewed them last week, and you could actually see the interview I had with 2 of the members on Facebook or YouTube. It's right there. Then Thursday, talking about old school, David Angel is a sax player and composer and arranger who's been really active in LA since, definitely since the 70s, maybe earlier. Anyway, he's really wonderful. And so he has quintet, I think. And also he's featuring Kat Connor singing. Friday is our dear friend Aviva Diamond, Ella Aviva Diamond, singing with gorgeous Josh Nelson on piano. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful duo. Saturday, May 16th, a very talented and beautiful, charming singer named Angie Wells has band there. And Sunday, it's kind of sold out for something. And then the next week is going to be great with pianist Matt Politano, one of the best piano players in LA, in my opinion. Matt Politano, May 20th. Stacy Griesbeck, a singer, Thursday, May 21st. Another great player, Adam Hirsch, on May 23rd. And Paul Krybick, the drummer, it's his birthday, so it'll be a birthday brunch on Sunday. So that's just to throw some things out there for you. I'll see you either before I leave for Japan or after. And thanks for hanging out. And thanks again to my guest, ROB BAILIS. And thanks, Terry Bond, for referring me. It's very exciting. It's great. It's kind of the beginning of the Jazz Festival. And yeah, I'm sure it's going to go on for year after year after year. Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.